Hey everybody, this is Alicia, also known as AVP. So today I'm joined by my boyfriend Jack. We're gonna be doing a very serious talk today. So some of you know that I had mental depression growing up. Some of you know I had suicidal thoughts growing up, but I also had another thing called PTSD. Hey Chloe. And in case you guys didn't know, PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder, and is predominantly seen in soldiers that have been in the war. And I myself am a civilian, but you can get PTSD even though you are a civilian. And it's kind of hard because everybody has this stigma about mental illness, sadly, thinking mental illness is only for the crazies, the loonies. No, mental illness can affect anybody. I'm just one face that happens to be one that has it. And I read up an article about 17 symptoms of them. I'll go through that in a little bit. But yeah, there's a family history in my family of mental illness in my family. And I figured, since I've been open about a lot of things in my past, about abuse, traumatic experiences, I figured, what the heck? Let's go for it. I'm all in. Let me talk about the good, the bad, the ugly in my life. And this is definitely one of the uglier aspects of my life. That's not so pretty. I'm normally pretty upbeat most of the time, but PTSD is no joke. I will say that much. It's no joke.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of ways that someone can get PTSD. Nor like the most well known way is you go through a war, maybe see somebody die next to you or something like that, and then you have survivor's guilt or something like that. But a lot of times it could be abuse. Like a abusive relationship, abusive mother or something like that, or father, um, you know, and like you don't really know you don't really know that you're going through that until later, until after it's over. And then you look back and you realize that, oh, like that was not a good thing that I went to. Yes, police too. That going through police going dealing with police can also give you PTSD. I
That's
I I can tell you that, especially if it's these overzealous officers who like to hurt people, and then um, and then they get away with it. Yeah, so that's another way. And of course, there's also like sexual abuse, rape. Um, just being in a relationship with someone who doesn't appreciate you, like it's that can really do it, stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, you guys know the uglier aspects of my life, that I was abused by my father and an uncle. You guys know about those things. And that's partly the reason why I went through the PTSD. I still face that. It's a war. That's the only way I can put it. It's a war. Because you're battling all these emotions. You feel like there's so many things that you play the what if game in your head. You feel like, well, if I done this, if I done that.
Hmm. Yeah, that's something where, like, in my experience, that really kind of messed with me.
Yes.
The what if scenarios is just where it's um, what if I had done this differently? What if I had did this instead or said this instead? Um, and looking back, and that's what you end up doing is just beating yourself up over it.
Yes.
long after it's over. Um, yeah, and so like I went through some, I've gone through that before, and it takes a lot to change that mindset.
Yes.
Yes,
And it takes a very rare person to open up and share that. I mean, Jack's, as you guys know, is my boyfriend, and Jack has been so supportive of me every step of the way. I mean, even before he became my boyfriend, he was supportive of my journey, and he's there for me. And I appreciate that so much. I mean, some of you in the chat are there supporting me, and that's been a big help to me because those of us who go through this PTSD, we need the support more than anything. We need that anchor because, like Jack is saying, the survivor's guilt, these traumatic experiences, they plague on your mind. You play the what if game, and it's kind of hard. But the thing is, I'm learning to stop playing the mind game, saying, what if I done this? What if I done that? Jack has told me, let it go. Stop it. Stop dwelling on your past. Your past was your
well,
past. Yes.
I didn't say it like that. I didn't say stop it,
But no, no, you didn't say it quite like that. No, of course
but
not.
that's the gist of it. Yes.
You basically just said, stop dwelling in the past. Stop focusing on the past. The past is not getting you anywhere. And
I mean, the most you can do with the past is learn from it.
yes.
Yeah, and that's basically learn it from it, and then just let it go, and then just remember that next time I'm going to do it differently.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've used my past to make me stronger. I've used it to make me a better person. Like I always tell people, be better, not bitter. A letter changes everything, which is true. I
I
could be
like that.
bitter about all this, but I say, you know what? I'm not going to be a bitter person. I'm not going to be defined by all the negativity that happened to me. I'm going to say, screw it. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be upbeat most of the time. I mean, yes, I'm going to have my moments where I cry. But the thing
That's
is,
normal.
but that's a normal thing, yes. And I mean, that's one reason why I wanted to do this stream to let you guys know I have a very serious aspect. Have a very serious thing that I've basically been hidden. For me to share this openly, it's nerve wracking. I mean, I didn't sleep too good about this because knowing I had to deal with this to talk about it. And it takes guts and courage. So if you are out there and you have mental illnesses, it's okay to say you need help. I will say that. There's nothing wrong to say that. Because I myself have to say I need help. And that's one of the things I had to do. I said, Jack, could you help me out with this? I'm scared to do this by myself. Being the way Jack is, he says, sure, what time, when, where?
Here
He's
I am.
there. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Um, but yeah, like I said, there's 17 symptoms. Now, let me tell you guys this straight up. Not every PTSD patient has every single one of these. I will tell you straight up. There's certain ones that I have more than others. And some of them more prevalent than others. I will say that. Where it's a little bit more obvious that I have it. But certain ones, because it's an unseen mental illness, you don't realize that these people are suffering. You don't realize that, who knows, maybe there's something they're going on because too many of us put on the mask. We put on the front to make everything say everything's a-okay when we're not. We're used to lying. We're used to doing that. And for me to open up and say I need help, I'm having to go outside of my natural thing. My natural thing is to hide. My natural thing is to run away, to not say I need help. I have to go past all of that barriers and say, I'm going to do the unnatural thing, to do the unnormal thing and say, I need help. So, yeah. So, all right. So, I'm going to share the article, put it on the screen so you guys can see the article too. Because I read up on it, like I said, when I was researching, when I wrote my blog about what PTSD symptoms are. And so, yeah. And like I said, those of us who have these, we don't have every single 17, we don't have every single one, but we may have bits and pieces. I have bits and pieces of these, a lot of them. So the first one is intrusive thoughts. It's basically saying where a person goes about their day suddenly confronted by an unwelcome distress and memories of what happened to them. This may happen in an unrelated setting. For example, a person who has gone through a car accident may begin to panic in a vehicle or out of the blue. That's true. I have that. I have had that many, many, many times, only I didn't know what it was called. So that is one of the triggers I have. Number 2, nightmares. Yes, 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 yes. Many times, that's one reason why I think I have insomnia, because of these nightmares. Because it's not just nightmares, but it's like night terrors where I don't want to go to sleep. Because unfortunately, a lot of the trauma I went through was during the nighttime hours. And I think that still plagues on me.
I do think with nightmares, it's not sometimes it's not necessarily the nightmares, it's the time between you going to bed and you actually having REM sleep, where it's a lot of just you're in your own head, and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly like you said with those intrusive thoughts, suddenly those thoughts come into your head and you just guilt trip yourself until you
Mm.
go to bed.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, like I said, I suffer from nightmares, guys. I do. I mean, I've suffered from nightmares almost all my life. Unfortunately, I still get them. And like I said, it's kind of hard for me to settle down to go to sleep. I mean, I don't know how many times I've stayed up late. Because that's the thing I think Jack worries about me, because I'll say I'm still awake when he goes to sleep. But
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's later over there for you than it is for me. So sometimes I'm like, maybe you should like it's like 10 o'clock. You've been past midnight for the last month. Yeah.
no, Mir, no, 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 no. Mir, who's in the chat, no, you never called me PTSD. The people who called me PTSD were my father and my uncle, who calls me PTSD, and certain past relationships. But no, none of you in my online community have ever called me PTSD that are currently in it. No one in this, no, no. Please don't think that, Mir, please. No, you never caused it. Nobody in this community has ever caused me PTSD ever. I can assure you guys that straight up. Nobody in this community has ever caused me PTSD. I mean, I may joke around and stuff like that, and I act stupid, or I get suddenly quiet or something like that. It's not because of you guys. It's part of my process in my head. Like I said, my natural thing is to run and hide. My natural thing is to run away, because I'd rather run away than confront it and say, okay, you guys take over. I don't want to do it anymore. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I know you're just messing around, Mir. I know that for a fact, and I mess around too. But the thing is, there's moments when I just have to deal with things, and yeah. So yeah, I suffer from nightmares, unfortunately. Um, the next one is avoiding reminders of the event. Yes, many many times. There's things that are triggers for me. Certain sounds are very much that. I'm not going to go into what they all are, because it's if I do that,
Right. You
I
know,
just
yeah.
I can't say what they are, guys. I really can't. I mean, Jack knows some of them, but no, no. I
There's there's some video that I've filmed back in 2018 that I can't even look back on because I can't. So I know what you mean.
yeah, like I said, I can't talk about it. I just I just can't. I can't talk about it publicly. And I'll just say it's just there's things that are very, very painful. I will say that much. I just no, but no, I avoid things that cause me that trigger. And if it means avoiding certain people in my life, I've done that. But like I said, it's none of you guys, honest. It's none of you guys. Please keep that in mind. It's none of you guys ever. If you guys do something where it causes me pain and hurt, I will tell you straight up, you mess with the wrong girl. I don't BS around. I just say straight up, you crossed the line. I will tell you straight up. Next one is memory loss. Yes, I have that. There's 3 years of my life I don't remember. I really don't remember. The only thing that I remember is a lot of sadness. I was not a very happy person during that period of time. There's very few happy memories of that time. And all I know is those 3 years of my life I don't remember very well. All I remember is just sadness, a lot of sadness. And when I read my old write-ins, because that was one of my therapies at the time, writing and music, it's very dark and somber. It's not like my thought-provoking stuff that I've done before. That's not where I can put it. It's very somberish. It's not like my usual stuff. I'll say that because I was a very unhappy teenager at that period of my life. Number 5, negative thoughts about self and the world. Unfortunately, yes, because self-esteem issues. I used to think I wasn't pretty. I didn't think I was smart. I thought I was stupid because people made me feel that way. I know differently. I'm not stupid. I'm not any of that. But unfortunately, because of my PTSD, I had very low self esteem. Where basically, if you were to see me in that time, I would have been just down in my books. I very seldom looked up. I was just a very unhappy person. And that's one of the things I still struggle with sometimes is my self esteem. But you guys are helping me through that, where I don't battle my self esteem nearly as much. You guys tell me we love you just the way you are. And that's a big comfort to me, to let me know you guys love me for me, to let me know you're just the way you are and we want you there no matter what. It's like the line that's from the movie The Help. What is it? You is smart, you is kind, you is important. And certain people remind me of that, like Chloe, who's here in the chat. She'll say it to me day in, day out to me. Jack says it in his own way to me, saying, hey, I love you for you. You guys say it to me in your own ways. And trust me, that's a big, big help to me. It really is. More than you will ever know. Because, like I said, I battle with that self esteem. I really do.
Yeah.
And number 6, self isolation, feeling distant. Yes, unfortunately. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I will just get quiet. I'll just send myself off into my own little world where I start reading or I just go off doing something else.
Yeah, you don't want to think about what's going on into the world, so you want to escape into something else.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that, I mean, like I get that. I, you know, I've I'll go, you know, I'm supposed to be doing one thing and I end up just focusing on something else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or um, I don't speak as much, or I wouldn't, post as much or something like that because I'm more focused on something else. Yeah,
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, or if I start feeling like little twinges of jealousy, I start pulling back because I don't want to be around that. Because I'll say if I say something, it's going to be mean and hurtful, and that's not me. You guys know me. I'm not a hurtful and mean spirited person,
yeah,
and so I pull back. I hide away, and you guys won't see me post. And I know some of you will reach out to me saying, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm like, and I don't want to, but it's a habit of mine to lie and say, "Yeah, everything's fine," when inside you're not fine. You're not
right.
okay. It just, yeah. So if you guys see me pull back sometimes, that's the reason why I've pulled back. But sometimes there's times where I have pulled back because of other reasons, not because of the PTSD. I can assure you guys of that. It's just PTSD is one of those things that makes me pull back too. Number 7, anger and irritability. Not as much. I very seldom battle with my anger. I very seldom am very angry. But if I'm angry, reflecting and remembering, like if I talk back about what happened to me in my past, that's when the anger comes out. Or if somebody starts, like somebody got into my face one time and tried to tell me this whole thing about my political beliefs or this whole health situation. I literally screamed at him. I'm not a screamer type. You guys know that. But if you push me too far, I will scream at you. I will bawl you out. I will block you from my social media. I'll kick you out. And I've kicked out many people in that, saying, I don't need that negativity in my life. And if you're bringing me anger, there's the door. I don't want to see you. I will say that to whoever it is. Number 8, reduce interest in favorite activities.
Oh yeah,
There's things that I pull back from, but it's because of scheduling. It's not because of my PTSD. But there are times when I just pull back from certain activities. Now I have pulled back from activities that or communities that I was part of that I enjoyed and loved, and I can't go back to those communities. I just can't. It might bring happiness for certain ones. For me, no, I can't. I pull back from it. It's not a happy experience for me, and so I'll start avoiding it, or I'll just not post about it. I won't talk about it. I'll hear people talk about it and everything, saying, "Oh, did you see this? Did you say that?" And to me, to avoid a trigger or an upset, I won't say anything. I'll just look at it or I'll log out. I'll just go walk away.
right.
So, yeah. Number 9, hypervigilance. So, this basically means increased alertness ensures that the person is always prepared for any other threats. Um, I don't have that per se. I really don't. I can assure you guys, I really don't have that. That's just, no. That's one symptom I don't have. um, Number 10, difficulty concentrating. Yes, many, many times I'll, I literally have to force myself to stay focused. And especially if I've had an episode worse situation, it's even much more harder. If I haven't slept well or I haven't been sick, like, how do I put it? So if I haven't slept well or if I haven't been feeling like myself, it's harder for me to concentrate. Like yesterday, it was really hard for me to concentrate on certain things. It just basic stuff. And it wasn't because of my PTSD, it's just because of my sleepiness, I think. But if I have a PTSD episode, it's much, much harder to concentrate because your mind's going like a million miles a minute. And yeah, it's kind of hard to stay focused on one particular thing. So I have to tell myself, I have to make myself almost like a list. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And sometimes if I get through that whole list, that's a miracle. If I've had a PTSD episode, if I get through just one thing, it's amazing the fact that I was able to get through that one thing. I'll say that.
Right.
Number 11, insomnia. I mentioned that earlier. Yes. I've been battling insomnia since I was 7 years old. Almost 30 years of my life, I've been battling insomnia. I have not been in a sound sleep probably since I was maybe 6, maybe 7. I get them so rarely. It's like I didn't sleep. It's like I don't even remember. Like I said, if you guys talk about, oh, I had a good night's sleep and I went into a sound sleep, me, no. If I'm able to get 8 hours of sleep in one single night, that's mind boggling. Because there's been times when I battled, just went through a single week, honest to God, with only maybe 2 hours of sleep in that whole week. It was because of my military camp training and my PTSD too. I mean, yeah, that's a big one. Because there are
Right.
those moments, it's hard to sleep. It's just you alone and your memories. So yeah, insomnia is a big one for me. I mean, I take stuff to help me sleep, but I'll say straight up, it doesn't always work. I've tried sleep hypnosis. I've tried soothing music. I'll say straight up, they don't always work. Because the other night I took a 20 milligram of melatonin of one tablet, and then the other two are 3 milligrams each. So I took 26 milligrams of sleep aid stuff. Did it help me sleep? No. No, they don't recommend that much high of a dosage of it. I don't think they recommend any more than, I think, 30 milligrams or something. That stuff didn't
Right.
help me. That stuff didn't help me sleep at all, guys. It did not help me sleep. I mean, this past weekend, I did not sleep, even though I had that 26 milligrams in me. No, no. Mm-mm. Number 12, vivid flashbacks. Oh, God. Yes, yes. Yes, I have those many, many times.
Yeah, I've had those sometimes, and they suck because it's not just the it's so vivid that the feelings that you were feeling at the time come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't breathe. It's like you're pinned down. Like, you guys remember me mentioning when I said I swallowed the kerosene, and one of the things that's the after effect is my fear of being pinned down. Well, it's like that with the flashbacks. It's like they've got you pinned down and you can't breathe. It's a panic attack within a panic attack. I'll say that. That's not way I can describe it. But yeah, those flashbacks. mm, they're awful. I'll say that
Yeah.
they're awful. It could be anything could bring those about. A sound brings it back, or certain music brings it back, or certain movies brings it back, or it's those triggers again. It brings back the flashbacks. So yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, those flashbacks. Yes, yes. And then sometimes it's things that bring it back to being around the particular persons involved with it. It brings it back to you too, because you see all this stuff like flush through your head right then, and it's like all you want to do is just like, for me, I want to back out of the room. I want to run away. I see that person and everything just comes back to me. And I just like in my mind, I'm like, I'm trying to run away, but it's like I'm frozen and I can't move. So yeah.
Right.
Number 13 is what I was just describing, avoiding people, places, and things related to the event. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Big time. I
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes. Uh, so I've done some activism locally, and yesterday was the 5 year anniversary of the death of Alfred Alongo. He was a guy who had a mental episode, and the cop who approached him shot him, killed him, and I worked with his brother. Uh, for a few years after that. Um, but uh, like I stopped going to like the yearly things just because it was just too much to remember. I mean, like, to be honest, nothing happened with that.
Mm-hmm.
They never got, they tried, the family sued, and nothing came out of the lawsuits, and
Mm-hmm.
officers probably back on the job now, and as if everything's fine. So it's one of the yeah it's so you know like I started avoiding a lot of that stuff because like it just, the anger that it gave me when, just knowing that these people did what they did and got away with it,
Yeah.
um it's too much. And then you realize you did all you could for, to help them, that you kind of had to just let it go. So that's what I ended up doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Number 14. Casting blame. Oh God. Yes. Yes. Many, many times, because I go through that in my head saying it was, well, if I'd only done this, if I'd only done that. You play the what if game.
Hmm.
But a lot of you guys have reassured me with the things that have gone on with me, saying, no, no, it wasn't your fault. The reason why these things happened to you. You guys have always reassured me, saying, you didn't do it. You're not the it's not your fault. You didn't provoke this person to do this to you. But yeah, it's that's the biggest one for us with PTSD, that we play this what if game in our heads. And it's not that it's not it's not that we can just shake it off kind of thing, because we're going through all these multiple scenarios in our heads. Well, what if I done this? What if I done that? Things may have turned out differently. I don't know. All I can say is that your timeline in your life is so fragile, and you don't know what's connecting those timelines to you. You erase one thing from your timeline, and you like this is one of the things that me and Jack is one of our favorite Orville episodes, lasting impressions. And there's this character, Laura, basically, who she has a gorgeous singing voice, but she's very shy about singing it out in public. And Gordon Malloy tells her, well, why don't you go up there and sing with me? And in one portion, she sings with him. But then he sees that she has this boyfriend that was in her life. Gordon gets jealous and says, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this guy. I'm going to delete him out of her life. Never realizing that that person was the reason why she was able to go on stage, the reason why she got the courage to sing. My point being this, we don't know if we delete or erase one part of our life, would we be who we are today? Would I be who I am if I'd gone through a better childhood? I don't know. Would I have even met Jack? I mean, that was one of the things that me and Jack talked about one night. We said it jokingly and stuff like that, but we said it in all honesty, we don't know if we would have even met each other.
Right.
I mean, like I said, our timelines are so fragile. And if you erase one thing from your timeline, what are you adding to that? You erased one thing, but what are you bringing in its place? So that's one of the things with us PTS patients deal with somewhat. You have all these multiple scenarios go through your head saying, well, what if I done this? What if I done that? That's one of the things I'm having to learn is just saying, stop playing the what if game. Stop playing the games in your head and just focus on the here and now. Focus on today. Focus on what's going on around you. Focusing on those surroundings. And so that's one of the things I'm doing is focusing on the here and now. Because that's one of the things Jack reminds me, he says, slow it down. Slow it down. Focus on today. Focus on today. Don't worry about tomorrow. We'll get to tomorrow when tomorrow comes. So, and you guys have reminded me of that too. Hey, Alicia, stop. Stop. Focus on today. Focus on today. And I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because, like I said, we have all those scenarios go through our heads, and to just take them all out of our heads, so to speak, and just focus on today, that's a challenge.
Right. I'm gonna have to. I'll be right back. My pizza's coming.
Alrighty. So yeah. Number 15 is difficulty feeling positive emotions. You guys see that I'm pretty upbeat most of the time. Hi, Nick. So, I don't have trouble with my positive. No, that's Thursday. That's Thursday, Nick. That's Thursday night. So, says, well, what was I? Sorry, I got distracted, Nick. You got me all distracted. It says difficulty feeling positive emotions. I don't know how to describe it, Nick. I really don't. It's been challenging right now. So now I gotta focus. Difficulty feeling positive emotions. No, no, I don't have that per se. Okay, I gotta focus. I gotta focus. Sorry, guys. I got distracted. I'm trying to focus. Sorry, guys. I got all distracted. I really got distracted. I got really distracted and because now I'm having to focus, and it's right now. Yeah, you distracted me, Nick. You really distracted me. And lower the caps, please. Like you're screaming. Yeah, you distracted me, Nick, and now I gotta get back to where I was. Now I gotta get all my thoughts together. It's not about the caps. That's not why I'm upset, Nick. That's not why I'm upset. It's not that I don't mind being on camera. Just right now, I got all distracted. Now I gotta get my thoughts together. I gotta get it straight.
Hello, I'm back.
Okay, great. Unfortunately, somebody got me distracted. I can't think on what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Right. Can't think.
Is there somebody on the chat that's bothering you, or
Yeah, Chloe's taking care of it, I think.
okay?
Thank you, Chloe. I needed that because, like I said, I can't moderate the chat and focus because I'm trying to focus on what I'm saying. I'm really trying to get it straight, folks. That's one of the drawbacks to PTSD. Like I was saying, that's one of the things with our brains. It's hard to focus, and if something happens where we lose our focus, I would just say that it's just a mess. Hmm. Okay. Let me give me a sip of my water again.
Take your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I can do. Take my time, right? Yeah, yeah. Because, like I said, that's one of the drawbacks, guys. Now you guys see what happens when with a PTSD patient. When we lose focus, it's hard to get it back, and right now it's kind of hard to get it back. Right now, it's going to take me about a minute or so to get it together. Okay, I think I can try now.
Okay.
Okay, number 15, difficulty feeling positive emotions. I actually don't struggle with that. I normally, now, when I was going through my darker periods of my life, I did struggle with that. Thanks, JJ. Appreciate that. So, when I was going through my darker periods of my life, I had a hard time dealing with my positive emotions and finding those. Now, I have so many positive emotions and experiences and upcoming things happening. It's kind of hard to process them all because they're happening so much.
Right.
And so to have very sad times, it's very infrequent where, like I said, where you guys see me unhappy. Most of the time I'm upbeat most of the time. So like I said, for me it's the reverse. If you don't see me happy, you know something's wrong. If you see me angry or frustrated like you guys just saw, it's during those moments that's a very rare time for me. So yeah.
Right.
Number 16, exaggerated startle response. Yeah, that can happen to me. That can happen to me, especially if I hear certain sounds because it's a trigger for me, it brings it back to me. And that's the only way I can put it. It's like you're on edge, but you don't want to be on edge. Like certain things are a trigger where I hear a certain sound and it comes back to me and I'm just immediately on edge. I mean, some people would think, oh, it's just a simple sound, but maybe for you it is, but for us, in my case, it's not. So it's just simple sound. It's not something you can just erase from your mind. Because I don't know if this is the case for all PTSD patients, but for me, it's almost like it's amplified that sound. It's almost like that smell, if it's a particular smell, it's your senses are heightened more. That's the way I can put it. You're more in a elevated state. That's the way I can put it. But it's not in a good elevated state. That's the way I can put it. Because, like I said, with those symptoms, you're more on
Casi-
guard. That's the way I can put it.
right. Uh, Casino sound effects for me.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work at a casino, and it's the sound effects are very. I mean, it's always loud. It's always like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like I spent 2 3 years working security at a Native American casino called Viejas here,
Mm-hmm.
and and when I left, every time I found myself in a casino and those sounds played,
Mm-hmm.
It would give me these flashbacks to when I was working at Viejas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, like it was one of those things that it started off well, and then the recession hit, and then they started basically, everybody feared for their job after that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but luckily
Yeah,
I got out of that.
that's good. Like I said, for me, during those kind of flashback moments, like I said, my senses are a little bit more heightened. That's the way I can put it. They're much more heightened during those moments. So yeah. Um, Number 17, the final one, risky behaviors. Basically, with these kind of things that these people tend to have, they do things that are more high adrenaline, like drinking, smoking, taking risky behaviors, like say maybe driving fast or something. That's something I've never done per se, because I saw the negative aspect of people who did these risky behaviors. And because I saw these risky behaviors in place, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll try something wild and crazy, say maybe one time to say, hey, I tried it. But that's not the norm for me. You guys are not going to see me out there saying, oh, let's go in a car and see how fast we can go in 2 minutes. You're not going to see me do that.
Right.
I'm not going to be one of those adrenaline junkies to say, let's go out there and go bungee jumping. No, you're not going to see me do that kind of craziness. Yeah, I do some crazy stuff from time to time. And
I skydived once, because I wanted to. Like I had,
right, right, right.
I'd wanted to do it for months, and I saved up the money and I had it done. And afterwards, I realized that I don't like skydiving. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah,
mean, sometimes you gotta experience stuff before you know what you.
sure. Sure. I mean, just like I tried a surfing simulation, and I'd always wanted to try surfing. I said, okay, I'll try it. And unfortunately, I nearly drowned because of that experience, folks.
Yeah.
And
Well.
but I chalked it off as a memory to say, do I ever want to try surfing again? Probably not.
Yeah. Same with skydiving. It was fun. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I specifically remember the uh, the moment they opened the hatch and the
Mm-hmm.
wind started going all throughout the plane.
Right.
That's where I started getting nervous. And then um, the first thing I felt when we got off the plane was that feeling you get when you're on a roller coaster where you want to like stomp your feet or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Right, right, right.
But
Like say make it stop kind of thing. Yes.
yeah, but there's so I started kicking, and my the guy that I jumped with, uh, he like wrapped his legs around mine and just straightened them out to make me stop kicking. And then after that, it was a little more enjoyable. But then I was just like, why did I jump out of a perfectly good airplane?
Yes. Thanks, Jeff
Yeah.
B. Yeah, I'm thankful I have Jack too. It says, I like what Jeff B's comment. He says, it's nice you have a supporting person like Jack in your life. That's a blessing. Stay strong. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Jeff. I appreciate that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, for the longest, I didn't have anybody in my life. But the fact that Jack says, you know what, I'm staying with you no matter what happens. And I've told him I'm staying with him no matter what happens. So that's a big, big help to me to know he's there for me.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, he's my biggest cheerleader and supporter. You guys have been my biggest cheerleaders and supporters too. I mean, I want you guys to know straight up, hey, I have this thing in my life and I suffer from it. And
There's a lot of people that do. A lot of people don't realize it either.
because you deal with shame, you deal with the stigma.
Hmm.
And that's the
Yeah,
sad
and
thing
for
about it.
even in the even in the VA for the longest time, they didn't want to recognize PTSD until like they
Right.
legally had to do it. Um, and then after that, like they realized how serious it was.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, you don't have to be military to suffer from PTSD. I am a civilian and I suffer from PTSD because of all the trauma I went through. And yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the thing. I will say this about PTSD, that you don't know what's going to upset you one day from the next. Normally, I normally don't have too many upsets back to back, but there are times when you guys will see me a little bit more quieter than usual. My best approach to you guys, if you see those kind of moments from me, I think your best thing is just to say, hey, I notice you're a little bit quieter than usual. Are you okay? Can I do something for you? And sometimes that's enough to make me snap out of it. But the thing is, if I don't answer right away, I think the thing is sometimes you may have to do it more than one time for me. You can't just say, okay, she's just fine. She just says she's fine. Sometimes you have to dig a little bit further. Because I know that's the way it is for me. Because I would lie for the longest and say, oh, I'm just fine, guys. Nothing's wrong. No, that's the thing. And those kind of moments, I think, to get me out of those kind of episodes, so to speak, you've got to dig deeper with me. You can't just say, okay, she says she's fine, folks. No, I've lied through my teeth, saying everything was fine when it wasn't. So, in those kind of moments, I think you just, I know I'm rambling, sorry, but yeah,
Ramble
you're
away.
gonna have to,
It's your stream. You can ramble. Was it? You're the cap. You're entitled. I'm entitled to ramble
I
on
know,
about something everyone knows.
true, true, but yeah, like I said, guys, but in those kind of moments, like I said, yeah, you're gonna have to dig a little bit deeper with me to push. You can't just accept me saying I'm fine. I'm fine. Don't just accept the just fine bit from me, guys. I will say that. Don't just accept I'm fine. If I, like I said, if I've gone off the radar and I haven't said anything for a while and I just say, oh, everything's fine, that's, to me, I'm putting on my mask front then. I'm hiding again. So in those kind of cases, I would say, hey, that's the time when you need to reach out to me more to say, hey, what's wrong? I notice you're a little bit quieter than usual. Why are you quiet? And those kind of
Right.
moments, sometimes I get a little, yeah. I mean, yeah,
Yeah. I understand what you mean. Sometimes sometimes you don't want to burden others with your troubles.
exactly. You don't,
I
you
think I
don't.
think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Because
because
you're dealing with that sense of shame to say, I need help. Because, like I said, like I was saying earlier, my natural thing is to run away. My natural thing is to hide because that's who I've always done. I've always put on the brave front saying everything's fine because that's a coping skill that I've dealt with, saying everything's fine when I know it's not fine. I know it's not. So in those kind of
yeah,
cases, you got to sort of push me out and say, why? I don't think you're fine. And some of the things that I struggle with, which I think Jack sort of has to remind me of, and you guys too, you guys had to remind me, hey, if I get quiet for a little while, don't get scared. I'm okay. Don't be scared if I stop talking to you. That's part of one of the things that I've dealt with because unfortunately, there's parts of my life where somebody just stopped talking and I didn't hear from them. And when you guys remind me gently, saying, hey, I'm okay, don't worry. Just because I got quiet, don't get worried. I'm fine. That's one of the things I'm glad that you guys will reassure me, saying, hey, don't worry. Everything's okay. You don't have to be scared. I didn't die. I didn't fall off a bridge or something. But yeah, I mean, those kind of times I have to be reassured. So, I mean, Jack knows that too, because I think, has seen me when I would message him saying, hey, are you okay? It's not because I'm, quote, the clingy girlfriend type. It's just, it's part of my PTSD kind of thing creeping in and anxiety creeps in.
right.
But Jack is so sweet and loving to say, "Hey, what's wrong? Why are you a little bit more?" He doesn't say it in his words, but he says it like, "No, I'm okay. I'm
Hmm.
okay. Sorry." And he's so sweet to apologize to say, "I'm okay. No, nothing's wrong. I didn't."
Oh yeah,
I
no,
didn't.
yeah, yeah, it'll be a, I'll be distracted with something. I'll be playing a video game or I'll be working or something, and like I'll notice like, oh, she asked if I was okay 30 minutes ago. I'm so sorry. Gee, let me fix that.
See, that's the thing. He knows. He picks up on the fact. I think you pick on pick. Can't get my words out. You pick up on the fact that I'm getting a little bit anxious there.
Right. And so I just reassure you. It's like, oh no, I was, you know, driving or something.
Right now, that's one of the things I won't do now. If he says he's driving now, I normally say just drive carefully, and then I let it go for a while, and then I let him get back to me to let me know when it's safe to start talking again.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know I'm not a burden, Chloe. It's just like I said, that's one of the things I have to remind myself. I'm not a burden. You guys love me. You guys care about me. I'm not a burden to anyone. It's just there were certain individuals in my life that made me feel like I was until they reconciled with me. But they said for the longest I was a burden. I was nothing but a heartache, and
That's
that's
not
part.
good. Yeah.
I know I'm not a burden. I know you guys. No, you guys care about me. I know that for a fact.
Good.
I mean, like I said, sometimes I just need those little reminder kind of things. Like Chloe tells me, reminding me, saying, "Hey, you is kind. You is important.
Hmm.
You is smart." I mean, I know I'm saying the quote all out of context kind of thing, but the thing is, I need those kind of reminders. It's like a little push to let me know it's not much to maybe the average person, but to me it means a whole lot to let me know, okay, hey, here's a little push to get you through your day. Here's a little push to let you know things are tough right now, yeah, for you, but the thing is, it's going to get better.
I agree. It
So,
will get
yeah.
better.
And it is getting better. It is getting better. I mean, you guys see me getting a little less panicky. I'm calming down. I'm slowly calming down. And yeah, I mean, this stream's going a lot better than I thought it would. I mean, I was thinking I was going to be really, really on the edge, but you guys have been big helps to me. So, yeah,
Good. That's good.
it's going a lot better than I thought it would. It really is. It really is. I mean, I think knowing that you guys are there, I think that's what's reassuring to me. It's a hug without being a hug. That's the way I can put it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys coming out for this because I felt like you guys needed to know part of my life that, like I said, there's so much stigma with mental illness that people have, and they just wrongfully assume it's a certain way, and it's not always that way. It's not like a cookie cutter mold. Like I said, these 17 symptoms that I was reading about little by little, some PTSD patients suffer from all 17. Some suffer from bits and pieces of it. I suffer from bits and pieces of almost, not all, but almost all of them. And some of us don't get medical treatment, sadly. And in those kind of moments, counseling with and having that support system in place, it lets us know, okay, it's okay to open up about your feelings. It's okay to talk about your heart. It's okay to talk about your fears. It's okay to share the good, the bad, and the uglies of your life. That, okay, life's throwing you a curveball or two, but are you going to make it a home run? Or are you going to just stay in the dugout, so to speak? Fortunately, I'm not staying in the dugout. I'm using those curveballs to make a better, stronger me. And I'm going to make a home run with this. I am going to succeed over this. I am going to not let my past dictate who I am. Yes, I have all this trauma in my life, but it doesn't define me. It doesn't make me who I am. It just happens to be part of that journey, that process that makes me who I am. But it doesn't make me exclusively who I am. Like, you guys know that I say the Orville community. I love the Orville community, but Orville doesn't define me. There's not one particular thing that you can use to categorize me as
Right.
me. This PTSD is not me. It just happens to be something I suffer from. I can use it as a crutch, so to speak, or I can use it to just, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe a stepping stone. Maybe that's the word. Hey, LDG. Maybe I can use it, like, say, as a stepping stone. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Maybe it's a stepping stone to say, I have it, but it's not the main thing in my life.
Right.
And yeah, I have this condition and I've had it for a long, long time. But the thing is, it doesn't make me who I am. And I just want you guys to know that straight up, that, yeah, I have this condition, but even though I've never been medically diagnosed with it, sometimes you have to go through self-diagnosis. I will say that. Because it's a learning process. I'll say that straight up. It's a learning process.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. I mean, now you know a little bit more, quote, uglier aspect of my life that's normally not disclosed too much. I don't disclose that. But for me to do it publicly in a video, I will say straight up, I was scared to death to do it. I really was. The butterflies are practically all gone now, but I was really scared when I was talking about doing this. And I said, I don't know if I can do this.
Well, you did.
I did. I did. I did do it. You guys helped. Jack, you're a big help. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Not a
So,
problem.
yeah, you guys have been awesome. I mean, JJ, Chloe, LDG, Nick, Jeff B, you guys have been awesome. Those of you that have been turning in, Crystal, uh, yeah, that's one of my processes, to be courageous, even though I don't view myself as brave as doing this. But yet, when I rewatch these streams, like, I'll tell you guys straight up, I do rewatch these streams. It's not because of an ego kind of thing. I will say that straight up. It's just to reflect on what I said and what I did. That's, like I said, I don't consider myself brave to do it, even though I was scared to death. I would tell you guys straight up. I mean, Jack could probably tell you I was scared when I was messaging. I said, I don't know if I can do this.
Right.
I don't know if I can do this. And Jack just told me straight up, you got this. You got this. I'm right there with you. And I just said, well, will you be there with me in the stream with me? And Jack, being the way Jack is, says,
Yeah.
I'm right there.
Mm-hmm. Here I am.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. It, like I said, to be gut rich and honest with you guys. That's all I can put it, being gut rich and honest. To tell you guys, okay, there's something in my life that wasn't so pleasant, and I still fight that. So if you guys see me a little bit quieter than usual, I would just say, don't be afraid to reach out to me and say, hey, are you okay? You're a little bit quieter than usual. Why? And what's wrong? And don't just take "I'm fine" as an answer, because, like I said, that's one of my tools to hide. But I'm learning not to say "I'm just fine" now.
Right.
But right now, when I'm saying I'm fine, right now I am fine. I mean that, and it's not a coping tool. I am fine. I am okay. I know it's gonna get better. I know I'm gonna
Good.
get better. So yeah. Um, is there anything you want to add, Jack, before I wrap up?
No, I mean, like I think you did well. I think you did well. Um, you did what you said you wanted to do, and you got a positive reaction out of it. I think it works. I think it worked.
Yes. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I really do. You guys have been so awesome. I appreciate this so much. So, um, yeah, just so you guys know, the next thing that I'm going to be doing on my channel is opening some fan mail that's going to be on Thursday night and reacting to Orville season 3, the teaser for that. That'll be a
That'll be
lot more
fun.
lighthearted. So that'll be
Hmm.
fun. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming out. You guys have been so awesome. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say basically. Thank you, Jack. I love you. I appreciate
All right.
this.
Love you too.
But thank you guys so much. You guys have been so awesome. And I will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye bye.